from under you like Janet. Can this be a real thing? Can it?
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the shit show. Oh, sorry, Sandy was having technical difficulties.
She's kind of white.
Sorry, I gotta turn off my phone. Darn it, I always forget to do that.
All professional.
Sorry. But yes, I know, very unprofessional, but that's why it's a shit show.
You're following in the steps of the great boomers.
Yeah, that's me. Okay, well, I had planned on maybe us talking about relationships, like the good, the bad, the ugly, and people that have been together for a very long time and what makes them successful. And also, I'd like to see what you guys' thoughts are on what happened with Matt Gaetz, his great announcement about the January 6th ruling of the one guy getting 18 years.
Oh.
And then also about... DeSantis throwing his hat in the ring, which we all knew he was going to do. So
I really didn't know.
Oh, you didn't?
Well, I didn't think he would, but
I thought everybody knew.
Right. Well, I don't think he would. I think we got it dumb, but then whatever,
But I just wanted to welcome Emperor for joining the show.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think your input will be very good, especially when it comes to the political points.
I hope so. Yeah. I'm a ghetto favorite.
And I definitely think Ruben will have some really good input when it comes to the romance department. No, I'm just kidding. But Sandy will be back. She's having some technical difficulties again. 2 people had to cancel. So I'm hoping maybe the others will show up. My little sister, Jennifer, she said she's just too tired. She just can't do it. She's going to try next Friday. But Sandy's back. Let me add her. She said she couldn't, but she's in North Carolina. So, she's ahead of me. So she's, we're an hour ahead of her. So I felt bad for her. But I told her that was okay. It's no big deal. Not like she's getting paid to be here. But I want to say hi to everybody in the chat before we get started on our what we were talking about. The Comic Relief Crusader said he wished he could come. I had invited him, but he couldn't get home from work. So so he couldn't come. And then I want to say hi to that. I made him one of my wrenches, so he's a happy wrench. I hope to help me out a little bit because I really need some help. But I sent him an invite too, so I don't know if he's going to be able to come. And then hi. Oh, he's one of my Twitter pals, and I'm glad he can join us, John. But thank you for stopping by, and I hope you enjoy the show once we get going. And he's just waving. And then let's see, Awesome One, thank you for coming by. Oops. Hope you enjoy the show. Say hi to you. Oh, the weekly roundup radio show. This better not be shit. Well, I hate to say it, but it's going to be shit. That's why it's a shit show. But thank you for coming. Oh, Sandy, your guy that got a crush on you. He's here.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, he said he was going to combine it. You better be here. So,
okay.
Let me know.
Are there any men crushing on me? I just want to know it in advance.
No, not yet.
Well, the evening is young.
Ruben said hi, or he gave us a little kissy face. Here it is. Here he is. Where is Sandy? That's all I want to know.
I'm right here.
There you are. She's here. Oh, hi, Bad Wolf. Thank you for coming by. I hope that we keep you entertained for a little while at least. But yeah, here's another one for Sandy. There's no such person as Sandy. Well, yes, there is. And she'll get better.
Saying that. You know, I had someone say that I was AI or something, that my stuff is too good to be a real person on Twitter. I took that as a compliment, actually.
Well, that is a compliment.
I was like, I said, obviously he hasn't seen me try to do live shows with my sister.
Well, we'll get better, I hope. But I like that we'll just be ourselves. You know what I mean? I want us to be ourselves. I think that's better. There's too many people already up there that are just whatever. As Ruben knows, he sees them every week, I'm sure. Let's see. Oh, it's American Woman, not Sandy. Oh, so do you want me to call you?
I can change my name. Change my name.
No, it's all right. Let me just a minute. I'll close these down. She's not coming back because you keep calling her Sandy. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't help it. I've been calling her that my whole life.
Yeah. I just, since I'm on Twitter, I thought American Woman, but Sandy's fine.
No, American Woman's fine. It just
okay. Is there any way that you can put Sandy on there?
You change it. You have to change it.
Okay. How do I do that?
I don't know for sure. I don't remember. I guess you click on your three little.
How do I do that?
Your three little dots.
Change your name. Yeah, you click the three dots, and then you can change your name.
The three dots. Okay.
You click your three dots.
Change my name to Sandy.
Edit name. Edit name. Yeah.
Yeah, just say edit name. There you go. That's good. Okay. Well, I had I don't know how to do it, so that's the problem. Is I found 2 articles about relationships. About the 17 worst things to do when you're in a relationship. But first, I want to go ahead and do the politics, get that out of the way, start the shit show right off the bat. So, Emperor, what do you think about this whole thing with the what Matt Gaetz said about the prisoner getting 18 years and what he said? Did you happen to hear that on the news?
I have not heard specifically what Gaetz has said. I am aware of the story, and I am aware that he got 18 years. Mm-hmm. I think it's ridiculous that you give 18 years in sedition based on what it is they claim that he is and said and done. I believe, much like everything else, it's amplified because of who's currently in the White House. You have people who are, diametrically opposed to them, their political views, and I don't know anything about the Oath Keepers. To me, it's like Patriot Front. I've never heard of them until just recently. All of a sudden, they pop up right before January 6th, and now. They're the alt-right boogeyman. And if nothing else, they're going to get 18 years because this allows Biden to go out in front of everyone, which he's just done, and said, hey, the biggest threat to the country is far-right extremism. And then they can point and say, see, we had to put this guy behind bars for 18 years because he was at the Capitol January 6th. So
well, I don't think he was there. I think this is one of the people that wasn't even in the Capitol. Right, but I don't remember. I didn't get to read the whole article.
Is that you have groups like this, and then you have January 6th. They're conflating the whole thing together because they're trying to build a narrative that there is this this far right movement, this weird extremism that apparently no one ever knows or sees until it's on Twitter. Like the Patreon Front guys. Oh, they're marching again. Who? Where are these people? They show up like twice a month, all wearing the same khakis. Who has that kind of coordination?
Is
Where are they shopping?
Joey. Right. Emperor.
So what is it that Matt said? I'm curious.
Well, he was just talking about how the guy deserved it, and stuff like that. About how the him doing what he did was against the rules, and that he should be punished.
18 years though for sedition. If you're going to give somebody that, I expect them to be actively putting, like Guy Fawkes, putting bombs underneath the Congress, Parliament, whatever. I mean, that is a serious penalty.
Yeah, but the thing is, we have child molesters and rapists that don't even get a year in jail.
Yes.
But this guy does this thing, just showing up somewhere and saying things that they don't agree with, and they give him 18 years.
Again,
So
I
that's
don't
pretty
know
pathetic.
the Oath Keepers. I don't know this
But
guy's
what do you think about it, Ruben? Do you know anything or have anything you want to say
I didn't know
about
anything
it?
about this. But
Oh, you
again,
didn't? Okay, well, it happened last night.
oh,
It was late last night when he was talking about it, and I just found out about it earlier today when I was in a couple Twitter Spaces.
do you have anything to share about that? A link?
Well,
Yeah,
I don't know how to share. I haven't learned how to do
You share
that
where
yet.
you hit present at the bottom.
Okay. Oh, I can do that, and I can share a website.
Yes.
Okay. And I got them bookmarked, 2 of them, but not that one. These are the ones about the relationship things.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I didn't know how to do that yet.
What exactly happened?
This is only my third show. And remember
that
last show I left, and I didn't even shut the stream down. So
was it on Twitter or
sorry.
something? Or no?
Do what?
Was it on Twitter or?
Yeah, it's on Twitter, and it was on a couple of other news things. I thought maybe you guys have heard about it or talked about it or read about it or whatever, since you're on Twitter. So,
Well,
Sandy,
Twitter,
what do you think about it?
All day, so I didn't know anything.
Well, you only worked a few hours.
Let me
Did you
see.
get on Twitter this morning?
Yeah, but I didn't see anything about Matt Gaetz. Is what I'm
Okay,
saying.
well, what
Guess
about
a lot
the-
of us didn't? So update us.
I'm looking
Okay, well,
for it
that's
right
what
now.
we were just talking about.
I'm trying to find it right now.
I didn't see it either. I did see the sedition thing. That
Okay, well, the
known
thing
about.
is that Matt Gaetz, he was talking about how he believed that this January 6th, I got a gnat, person deserved 18 years in prison.
What?
After everything that we've seen and that Tucker came out with and ends up basically losing his job, we don't know if this is the reason for it, but I think it had something to do with part of the reason why they wanted to get rid of him. But, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
The other thing I wanted to talk about was the whole DeSantis putting his hat in the ring. So, Ruben, why don't you start off with that? What do you think about that?
Well, I was doing a live with the Front Porch Conservative when that happened, and I was invited, so I was interested in what was going on. I'm in Florida, and I voted for DeSantis this last election, and I really think that I did a long and hard analysis. And I really think that there are some very powerful donors, and his wife, Lady Macbeth of Florida, is forcing him to do this. So it's too early for him, and it showed by the disastrous launch he had.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it was pretty bad.
I think it was disastrous simply because of the requirements or the infrastructure that Twitter had. While I understand the splash he's trying to make by making the announcement on Twitter, by the fact they had so many people show up that they crashed the damn thing, I call that rather successful in and of itself.
But the thing is that there's two things there. There have been larger spaces before, so you can say conspiracy theory that something was being done to shut it down or whatever. So you could go either way.
You got.
But
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. But the point I'm saying is the fact that there's a time to do it, and then this was not the time. So that's all.
Right, I agree with that. It's not the time. I mean, this guy barely was running behind his opponent, right? And he gets ahead because Trump gives him an endorsement, so he wins. Okay, and now you have him knowing that he got cheated out of his rightful place being president again, and what he had to go through when he was president, and now he's running against him like the turd that you would not expect that he would be, because he has done some good things for Florida. And I think he should just step back, let Trump have his 4 years that he deserves to have, and then he can come back in and be the next president.
Let me play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Let me ask about this.
All right.
So, you two have the opinion that DeSantis is going early and that this is some disloyalty to Trump. Does the fact that from a DeSantis point of view, at least so he's claimed, is that he's doing something good for the nation by giving an alternative to Trump, does that give him any kind of leeway, any kind of points? Does the consideration that he will score better possibly with those who are soft on the left or those who are independent?
No.
No.
Elaborate. Why?
Because again, he is listening to people that are part of the Uniparty, and he's trying to do good negotiation, and he's got his wife there pushing him, like Fetterman's wife, or like Woodrow Wilson's wife, or in the back, she's just doing something that is very it's not in the open, so it's not genuine. And then again, this smells bad. It smells very bad right now.
So he's running mainly so she can become first lady. That's
yeah, and he'll get all this money. He'll do all this stuff. He'll do that. It's politics. It's stupid. I'm just done with all crap like that. I want the genuine, and you want somebody who's going to be a fighter, who's going to fight for America. And again, I'm not saying it's not Trump, but I'm just saying you have to be genuine. There's a lot of things that are wrong, and you don't, get in the mud with these dirty money people and these politicians, the behind the scenes guys. You have to be honest, and then that's what I'm saying. It's disingenuous, in my opinion.
Not to step on you, Gina. I know it's your show. My apologies. Just another quick question, Ruben. And again, we're playing devil's advocate. I have my own opinions, and I'll give them if asked. Do you believe that, since you talk about being a genuine politician, do you think that Trump has an issue with the majority of Americans not part of MAGA with being genuine? I mean, until he ran for Republican president, he was a Democrat.
Yes.
I would say he's a very soft Republican overall. So when it comes to being genuine, I don't know that necessarily would hurt DeSantis, because Trump, for right or wrong, I don't think is.
Well, it's not really about Trump. It's more about somebody who's going to call out the crap that's going on. It's just that right now, things are darker than anybody's ever seen. They're darker than I've ever seen. So again, but right now, I don't want to have him out there. It's too much. I don't like the politicians. I love civics. I hate politics. The idea of debate and actually coming to the fold. I have an idea. You have an idea. We talk, but we're still friends, or we're still human beings and Americans.
Okay, thanks.
So it's just crazy. It reeks, right? This is, in my opinion, that's the whole thing.
What worries me when you look at it overall, and I equate it to what we're getting into, is old school Roman mob politics. I agree, for different reasons, that DeSantis is going too soon. I don't know that he necessarily needs Trump anymore, because, yes, as Sandy pointed out, he needed Trump's endorsement to get over the hump the first time. Except he just blew everybody out of the water in Florida, kind of what happened here in Ohio, second time around. So he doesn't necessarily need Trump. The problem that we're going to run into, and you're always seeing it on Twitter, is a civil war amongst the general populace, the people, voters. Mob mentality. And that DeSantis may have a lot of people that support him, may have a lot of people like him. I like the guy. I think he'd be a fine president with some more seasoning. But
the
he
thing
does
is,
not have the rabid support that Trump has.
He doesn't, because
And
he
those
barely
people
even
will
won
not
his
vote
own
for him.
state.
Even if
Remember,
DeSantis wins,
if
they
it wasn't for
won't
Trump
vote
pushing
in the
him over the
generals.
borderline, he wouldn't have made it.
No.
Exactly.
He dragged him over the end.
I mean, I
think
agree with you. I agree with you that he has potential, but he's just too scripted, man. I mean, the whole thing on Twitter was just like he was reading off a prompter or something.
I don't
And
care.
he was just like,
Don't care.
hey, be real. Stop being so political.
You know what?
Then
But
to
I'm fine
find
with
out, Then to
What
find out that
happened?
Soros and all these other people are just like championing him and stuff, he should say, "Stop it, man! I am not your man. Leave me alone. I am not with you." Publicly, maybe things will be different, but he's not done that. He hasn't denounced anything that these people have said on the left about
True.
how great it is. So to me, he's a turncoat, and I think that he should just wait his damn turn. Trump needs to be president. Trump is my president, so hey, that's how I feel.
Well, yeah, and you have the right
That's
to
right,
your
Bruce.
opinion. Everyone does. But the thing is, what's going to happen, I think, is the facts are going to start coming out about what really happened, because his state was shut down, beaches were closed, kids
Right.
were wearing masks in school, all those things that he's trying to say and act like it never happened or it barely happened. It was only for a couple of weeks. When we have real states that didn't have any of that, any lockdowns whatsoever. I can't remember the name of the state right this second.
Oh, what's that lady? South Dakota or North Dakota or something?
Yeah,
North Dakota,
I think
South Dakota.
it was South Dakota.
Gorgeous woman. Ooh.
Oh,
But the thing is
Christina.
that if he's
Yeah.
going to brag about it, he should at least give credit to where credit's due about, well, I didn't do as well as so-and-so in their state, but I did do the best I could. Things like that, humble himself a little bit. And I think that would help him, but sometimes when you get your head gets huge, that's just, the reaction you get. And we all know that. We expect that from Trump. Trump has always been Trump since we've
Ego.
known him in
He's
public.
always had a big ego.
So I don't expect anything different from him. But DeSantis is a lawyer. Okay. So I have a little bit of skepticism when it comes to him anyways, just simply because of his profession. And the fact that he's a big Bush man, he's got a few people behind him that I don't agree with.
Right.
I really do think he should have waited a little longer and finished his term, because now even his own people are looking at him like he didn't even want to finish what he said he was going to do for us.
Exactly.
And then he leaves, becomes president, and he just leaves the state hanging. And it's this close to being blue
No,
already.
he has a claw in there that if he runs for president and he doesn't
No,
make it,
what if he
can go back.
wins? What if he
Yeah,
wins?
well,
Yeah,
then-
he's
Florida is
president.
already
not
know.
Now what
close to
about
going
Florida?
blue. It's
Right.
blood red through and through. Same as
No,
Ohio. It's
no, there's a
blood
No,
lot
it
of
isn't.
Democrats.
No,
There's
it
a lot
isn't.
of
There's a
Democrats.
Democrat.
Every
voting?
single city in Florida
Almost has
is
a Democrat.
Okay,
bright
you're talking city.
neon
There's
blue.
a reason he carried the whole state. And again, I'm not a DeSantis guy, but I mean, I think
Right.
we're getting a little panicky here.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I don't
well,
think so.
Orlando is very blue.
Let
I
me
hate
ask all
it.
three of this.
Okay.
Every city is.
If Trump,
Yeah.
if this was 2024, let's say Trump wins or loses, doesn't
Mhm.
matter. Let's go to
Yeah.
2024. Would any of the three of you have a problem voting for DeSantis if he was the Republican nominee?
Yes.
No. I'll vote for him
I
because
would.
I'd rather have him than Gavin Newsom or
I'll let it
Well,
burn.
Heels Up Harris. I'm sorry.
what about,
I'm not voting for
What
them.
about if it became
But I'm not going to
Queen?
want to. If I could, I'd write Trump's name in. That's what I would do. And if I could get enough people to do that, I would do that. That's what I would do. But it depends on the numbers. If we can get every person that voted for Trump the first time and the second time to write his name in, then guess what? We might win. Oh, damn. I got a gnat in here.
But the point here is that the 2024, even now it started, it's going to be a brawl. It has to be a street fight because,
That's for
again,
sure.
the Democrats are fighting dirty. With ballot harvesting, we do the same thing. And again, we have to realize what we have now, what's going on. Everything is planned. Again, the distraction right now is the Bud Light, the Target,
Yeah.
the whatever. Data analytics. They're doing this on purpose. They want the controlled collapse. Bud Light is doing this on purpose because they'll take the data where the beer's not selling, and they're going to know that they're going to go in that area and collect ballots. We have to do the same thing. Everywhere where Bud Light's selling, we have to go there and fight. Go there and do the same thing. Get people to the polls and do that. And then fight against everything here that's about what they did in 2020, the illegal ballot harvesting, the changing of the laws, election laws, and all that stuff that they did that we just let it go by. There is nobody out there fighting. The Republicans are just weak on that.
Mhm.
Totally weak
I
when it comes
agree.
to electioneering and working the elections.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so too. And I'm a big advocate on grassroots. I mean, city, starting with your town, your city, your state, and getting people to go to work the polls. poll watchers are all great and everything, but if you don't have the people sitting at the tables actually getting the signatures, handing out the ballots and counting them, then how are you going to make sure there's no cheating? Because guess what? There won't be any cheating at the table you're sitting at. And if I could get 1, 2, 3 people at every polling station in every state, even if we don't win, at least you can go to bed and know that it was as fair as possible. We did something to try to make it fair for everyone. And to me, I've worked the polls since I was old enough. Since I was 18 years old, I've almost always worked the polls or went door to door. I've always volunteered to try to do that stuff because to me it's important. I mean, it's so important because people have died to give me the right to do that. And I try to get everyone to do it. And I know Sandy's sick of hearing me sometimes, but I can't help it. It's the one thing, jury duty. And I heard that Emperor did jury duty not very long ago, but that's the one thing we can do is to sign up and support our state, our town, and our country. I mean,
I guess
I never voted in like the off elections. I only voted in presidential my entire life. I never cared. Again, I don't do local. This doesn't make any sense. But now it's more important. But again, that goes to the point where I don't like it. I'm trying to find. I got to find a new place to live anyway. So I'm just trying to look for where is a good place, good American place to live, and I'm just trying to find it right now myself.
Yeah, and the sad thing is that. When people have that thought, like you, I have friends that say, well, I don't want to register to vote because I don't want to serve jury duty. And I said, but then you go in there and you say, hang the fucker. Sorry if I should say that word. But if you do that, guess what? They're not going to pick you, neither side. I mean, that sounds terrible to do that, but that's your way of getting out because they can't trust you now. And they'll probably put your name on the list and never pick you again.
Well, I served in the federal
you
jury.
can still vote. You're still voting because that's private. Okay. You don't have to get up in front of people. You can just say your heart on a piece of paper and put it in a machine or hand it to someone to count. But to me, it's so important if we could just all just swallow our pride or whatever it is, our fear and stand up for it. I mean, when you gripe about how much gas or how much groceries taxes and all that, you can't gripe if you never vote. I mean, I have lots of friends that never voted.
Right.
I've got 2 or 3 friends that are Jehovah's Witnesses that's never voted once.
Okay.
I guess I'm a little surprised by the cynicism, though, when you talk about that, when you talk about voting and getting people going. When Ruben mentions Bud Light that it's on purpose. That would seem very odd to me for a couple of reasons. One, the place they're getting hammered are already deep red anyways, mostly in the South, places like that. So the ballot harvesting, they're going to go anywhere anyways. What you're seeing, and I think it's significant, especially headed into an election cycle, when you talk about getting people out there to vote, getting people to sign up, getting people more fired up, you're seeing in a situation for the first time in a long time, pushback, not just from people on the right, but people in the middle who said enough is enough. Bud Light might be, an operative for somebody on the DNC, not to the tune of $16 billion and losing their place as first and now second. Target may be doing something so they can see in the South where they are already getting hammered, where they need to ballot harvest, but not to the tune of $11 billion and falling.
They don't
the
care.
LA Dodgers might be okay going against Catholics, but not to the degree that they just lost about, what was it, a fifth of their sales for season tickets. What you are seeing is the average everyday American who isn't online all the time, who isn't dialed into politics, who's looking around saying, what the hell has happened to this country? I had my head in the sand. I was going to work, taking care of my family, doing things. And I look around and now there's swimsuit for kids to tuck their junk into, and there's these books here, and now Bud Light's got a transgender, and they're telling their fan base or their customer base they're nothing but fratty men.
Right.
But they're not speaking to the beer drinker. They're speaking to the children.
Right.
Right.
They don't care about the beer drinker. They care about the kids. They
Well,
want the kids.
a little bit, they do care about the beer drinkers to a degree. And the reason I'm saying that is all you have to do is look at all the restaurants and bars or restaurants that serve alcohol that parents are taking their children to and having drag queens run around with their boobs hanging out, fake boobs at that, but a child still sees boobs and ass hanging out. And then the parents are giving them money to put in the drawstrings and stuff and in the brasiers of these dancers. So to me, the parents are the ones that should be arrested for child abuse and child endangerment and things,
exactly
because
right.
No argument here.
that's no different than taking your child and carrying it into a strip bar where there isn't food. It's just alcohol. What
Right.
difference is that to a child's eyes when they see boobs and ass
It's
hanging out and the dancing and shaking,
It's
which
so
I
funny.
have no problem with.
If you remember last year in Vegas, they had a kid showed up that was under 21. They wouldn't allow him in the bar to
Right.
go to the meetup. Then
Yeah,
you
they
have
can't
kids
buy
looking
cigarettes. A child can't buy cigarettes. You can't get a driver's license. You can't do anything, but you're allowed to cut you off your genitals now and get jabs.
But according
Okay,
to
of
according to the Democratic Party,
hormones,
black people can't
and
get IDs.
Go see
Right.
drag shows with boobs and ass hanging out when
But
you're a
see, this
small
is their argument.
child.
They say, but they're not real boobs. Okay, then
Yeah, but
why
see,
are
it
you
doesn't
going
matter.
through all this
It's
rhetoric
not
about
just the
saying I'm
boobs;
a real
it's the
woman?
gyrating and the grinding and
That's
the
not
fact
what
that you're
I'm-
putting
what
it
I'm
in the
saying is-
G-string.
What I'm saying
No, I know.
is that they go through all this. I'm a real woman. If I change this and I cut that off and I add this, but yet I'm dancing in front of, but they shouldn't be offended because it's not real boobs. So what the hell? Quit trying to confuse
Mhm.
everybody.
the biggest concern.
Well,
is
they're just
when you
trying
get
to
all this
find a
together-
way to get around of looking bad that they're doing this. But to me, I'm a mom, okay? And I'm telling you right now, there's no
Mom?
way I wouldn't let my child stand there while someone's shaking their ass or their boobs in their face. And I definitely wouldn't give her money to go over there and put it in her G-string.
Nope.
I mean, it's bullshit.
But you
And
have
to me,
on the
that's
left-
wrong. A parent should be arrested for that.
Wait, what do you say?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Emperor.
I was saying you have people on the left who are taking a stance, telling parents like you, like me, like everyone, you don't have a say in what we tell your children. You don't have a say in what we teach your children.
Right.
You don't have the education. Okay, well, I'm more educated than any of the people, any of the teachers in my kids' schools. I'm willing to bet I'm more educated than everybody up into the college level. My degrees are the same as theirs. Don't tell me. Even if I wasn't, I don't need a college degree to understand that this isn't something I want my child to get.
Right.
We have 200 and some years of precedent saying that my opinion trumps yours.
Oh, I
This is
think
the
you're
key to-
roboting. a
I
little
am.
bit.
What's that?
FBI,
Yeah,
are
you
you
did.
out there? FBI, it's okay.
Okay.
It's all right. Go ahead.
The point being that it's going to damage them going forward because they're the party, and it happened for Ginny, and I think it's only getting worse, is that they've taken such a stance against parents. And that pisses off not just the people on the right, but the people on the left who are minding their own business. Kind of goes back to the Bud Light thing. Yeah, maybe it's not about the Bud drinkers, but you put it all together and you're butting your nose into parts of people's lives that you don't need to belong. Don't tell me what to drink. Don't tell me where to shop. Don't tell me what my kid can and cannot do. If I don't want them to learn something, that's my choice, not yours. And it's going to be
Oh,
really
yeah.
interesting to see how they carry forward that message saying, well, we know better than you. All right, we'll see.
It's interesting. For the last, I would say, probably now 5 years, I've stopped watching television. It's been winding down. It was news only, and now that's gone with news. I just basically read a lot. But and sometimes when I walk into a store or something, I see a TV and I'm seeing the commercials, just the propaganda of all things.
Right.
The main thing but the main thing they're touting is drugs. Everything is, you ask your doctor about this. Side effects include death. And I'm going, that's seriously. So it's like, I don't take any medication at all. I take nothing. I don't take aspirin. I don't take anything. I'm doing my healing naturally because, again, I cook my own food and I want to have my own garden on stuff. So I am zoned out. But again, the propaganda, they know. So during World War II and leading up to the whole Korean conflict, the Vietnam War, and then the Cold War, it's propaganda, throwing it out there. And then they went into the ivory towers, into the schools, because they knew they could do this. And then now they're inundating. That's why the psychologists are saying, that getting up early is white supremacy. You're a racist if you get up early in the morning. if you don't start the day, pulling of your bootstraps is a racist thing. I'm going, everything is racist now. It's insane. So but again, they're not speaking to the
Exactly.
parents, speaking to the kids. They're talking to the kids, and the kids will start to believe this. That I'm oppressed. I'm this. I'm that. And then again, the cycle is then they'll grow up with problems. They'll grow up being damaged. They're doing it with the shows we're watching. Every show, there's a bad father. There's someone who's being marginalized and all that stuff. And I don't watch TV anymore, but I'm seeing it in the outlier. So they want people to be on medicated, and just indoctrinated and institutionalized in
Right.
this stuff. It's crazy. I'm just done with it.
Yeah, it is crazy. And that's what's so scary about it, is because they're trying to make it, and it's not just the left. Okay. This is the left and the right. They're trying to make this normal, that when you turn on the TV and you see a man dancing around wearing women's clothes and lipstick and stuff with the whiskers, that's supposed to be normal. I'm supposed to accept that as a woman. So is it going to become illegal for me to wear lipstick and perfume and actually wear a bra because I actually have my own boobs that I grew, that I'm going to get arrested for it? I mean, if I go to the store to buy female, stuff because I need it, because it's that time of the month or whatever, am I going to get arrested because I actually have a period? I mean, where's it going to end when it comes to being a real woman and being punished because of it? I mean, you can't even compete in sports. I can't say anything about a man being in the women's restroom. I have to like ads where there's a man dressed in women's sports clothes and I'm supposed to want to go buy them for myself and I'm a woman. I mean, when's it going to stop?
Yeah.
See what I mean? That's a position I'm in, and I'm not trying to be a bitch. I'm just trying to be a woman.
Right.
I just want to be a woman.
And
I want to be able to buy women's clothes that women wear. I'm interested in buying lipstick and perfume and stuff to make myself feel like a woman. Not because some man's telling me that's what I should buy, because I like to dress up like a woman too.
Yeah, and the most important thing here is that women are the most valuable resource in the world. They are the cradle of civilization. Without women, we do not survive as a human race. And they are marginalizing and destroying women, and we are letting it happen. And then women on the left are doing it. They're bowing down to trans people.
Exactly.
You had that person who was lactating and going, my God, it's like, what are they doing? But because again, they're pumping themselves with hormones. So then,
but they're doing it to men too, Ruben.
Yes,
they're trying to make us genderless. They're trying to make us look like Ken and Barbie walking down the street, where people have to look really hard to even tell if you're a man or a woman. If every person looks like a cookie cutter walking down the road, and then we have all our babies in laboratories and stuff, it's turning into some kind of
they want
a sci-fi show or something.
You know what's the irony here? I'll just tell you this much. This is a good segue, not right now, but for what you're talking to talk about next. But my entire life up until 2021, the only people I associated with were women. I didn't like guys because guys were idiots.
I had just the opposite.
Right.
I almost had nothing but men in my life, guys. And then I had my sisters at home that picked on me. So I hung with guys. That was because I was a tomboy. So I understand exactly what was.
But what happened is I flipped around, and then I'm basically seeing, and they say toxic male. When I look at men who I've met now in the last few years, it's like they are beaten down. The world is beating down men, and now they're going after women. They're just marginalizing them. So then basically,
this is what I meant.
Go ahead.
This is what I meant by the pushback, and Ruben is exactly right. But to your point earlier, Janet, is where's the pushback from women? Because they are the ones to.
I'm pushing back. I've always pushed back. Look
at the demographics, though. But especially single women, especially single white women, they are far to the left. There is a huge difference between men and women. In fact, there's a couple polls came out today about that. And they're accepting of these things. They're willing to go right along with it. They're willing to be marginalized. It's almost like it's not a concern. If you want things to change, that's the group of people. You need women in general to say, okay, enough. You know what? You're not going to replace us with pseudo women. And that's not happening. There's no boycott over getting Dylan Mulvaney to sell makeup or purses or swimwear. Men's beer, different. Why?
Right.
But remember what they're doing. What they did in the 60s is they sent off, in the Vietnam War, in that era, they sent good men to die for a war that they fabricated, the Vietnam War, and they
Mhm.
went after the black families, broke them up, fed drugs in there to them, and then told black mothers to get rid of their husbands. So then you had that beginning of the single motherhood, and then
Mhm.
that's the whole aspect of, you had mothers that had no, the baby killer guy got killed, or the broken family. So you had this resurgence of women who could say, I can do it on my own, and they did on their own, but out of necessity. But then it came the sexual revolution, all that stuff. I don't need a man anymore, and all that stuff. So then these women now have had that history, and they don't need a man, but then they get crazy, and that's why they're growing up hating men, and then they're told this by the media that men are bad, there's this, you're toxic, this and that, and you see that all the time now going up. And then they help open an OnlyFans account, they do this stuff, so then they're now creating an issue where they're going to have this self-identity crisis, and you see it happening now, where they have regrets, this and that. Suicides are going up, especially more with men. But then it's compounding, and then who comes along? Pfizer, to help out and say, give them a drug to help them feel better, and then
Yeah,
psychologists,
Johnson and Johnson and all the
all
other
that
pharmaceutical
other
companies.
crap.
They're
So
all
it's
standing
cycle.
in line to give
Man.
you shots, and then now you also have doctors that are willing to give you fake abs, a fake ass, fake boobs, fake lips, fake cheeks. I mean, everything's fake, even
Because
for men.
God
I
made
mean,
you
men are
wrong,
getting it done.
and now
Right.
you be
God
right.
did it all.
It's all
Mhm.
you women's fault.
Because-
You had to eat the apple, didn't you? You couldn't. You had to put everything in your mouth, ladies.
That's right. I sure
Pretty
do.
much.
Downhill ever since.
Please do.
Pretty much. But I wanted to switch subjects now to the relationship stuff. I found, I got to stop my camera so I can look up here and see if I can figure out how to bring this up here.
Yeah, you hit present at the bottom.
Okay, and
then
then
it goes share screen. Then you pick the screen you want to share, not the whole window, but
okay,
I don't want to see your desktop with the naked guy.
All right, here we go. I'm going to try to do this. Okay, it says share screen. And I don't know, what's window mean?
When you pick the window, you pick the window you want to share, and then you get at the bottom, you select what you want to share.
Oh, I thought it was something you looked out of.
Well, see, I want to share us.
Yeah,
You'll be
share.
here all
So
week, folks. Tip your waitress.
you want to share, and then and it pops up. Tab to share. You click the tab to share. Where it says your tab, you click the tab.
Okay, I just said entire screen because I don't know how to do it any different.
Okay, that's no problem.
Okay, so up here is what I want to share. Oh, but it says I'll leave. I can't leave, so I have to open a different tab then. Can you still see it?
Yeah, but it's open up, zoom it in.
Yes.
Okay, this article, can you see it?
Barely.
Yeah. Try not to do these 22.
I don't know how to zoom in.
Well, make it bigger.
It's a
Make it bigger.
There you go.
How's that?
There you go. That's
Is that
better.
better?
And now you zoom in by just doing
How to
view,
zoom
and you
in.
make it bigger.
You can
This
see your
sucks.
folders.
I don't know
Okay,
how to.
Anyway,
I
it
don't
says
know how to do
please
it.
try not to do these 22 weird things.
Oh, God,
About
no.
it.
Now we've gone into infinity.
Wait, do you want me to share it for you?
I don't know how to do it.
You just put the link in my screen, or send me a link in the private.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me do that. Hold on. Let me get the link. Sorry,
Don't
people.
do
I'm
what you
learning.
do.
That's why it's called a shit
love
show.
This shit
Jenna,
show
we're
shit,
okay.
but I'm so glad Deanna has
Oh
spent
my
hours and
God,
hours
I'm
doing
so
this crap.
embarrassed.
I'm just
Okay.
like,
We're okay, Janet.
God.
Okay, I'm going to share this for you in the private chat,
Perfect.
and then you can share it because I would like for us to go through it. I was interested looking at it. It's all these things it tells you not to do in a relationship.
No problem.
Sounds like a challenge.
Some of them were kind of
Okay.
funny. And then there's another one that's about how people have been in relationships for a long time and what they've done. Oh, here we go. So he's going to show it. So now what do? Do I click on that?
I'm sharing it, so I'm directing it.
I hope none of my
Okay.
exes see this.
Wait. Oh shit.
Who does that? Oh, it's a
Wait, I
checklist.
fucked up. Hold on. Sorry. Hold on.
Okay.
Wait.
I'll
you
learn sooner or
Yeah.
later how to do this stuff.
Wait, yeah,
This is only my third one ever.
click on the bottom and hit share.
okay, Janet, we
Okay,
know.
shift that. Click that. There we go.
Perfect.
Show. It's
Awesome.
a
Oh, wow. That's
If it was
great.
smooth,
That
you'd
works
disappoint people.
awesome. That looks really good. Okay, so who do you want to read, Ruben? You want me to read, or Sandy? Would you like to read? Oh, you have to have glasses on, don't you?
Make it bigger.
Hey, shut up, Janet.
It says,
Jeez.
Oh, you need
Does
glasses, Tandy? You need glasses? That's great.
No,
It says
just
most
reader.
couples have
Old lady
inside
reader.
jokes and little quirks that make their relationships a little more fun and personal to them, whether it's a pet name, joint social media accounts, or following
What?
certain traditions. Everyone has them. So, did you guys have anything like that in your relationships that lasted more than, a one night stand?
All right, look, there's a pro tip right there. Do
Mhm.
not have a joint social media account.
What?
Can you
No.
scroll? Can you scroll
sorry,
down some?
sorry.
I don't know how to. I can't do it.
I got
don't
it. I
think.
got it right here.
Okay.
What kind of fresh hell is that? What kind of idea is that? Well, let's share our Twitter. That'll go well.
Who the
Let's
hell
share our
does that?
Facebook.
Who
Okay.
would do that, anyways? Does that make any sense at all?
No.
Why not? What's the
You-
problem?
Why not?
Aaron?
The amount of memes I would drop, I would embarrass any girlfriend or wife I had.
Hell, look at the shit I
You really
drop.
put
I
down a
drop all
Nazi
kinds
Harry
of
Potter
stuff.
meme?
Wait, let me
Yes,
go-
I did.
Harry
You're a
Potter.
grand wizard, Harry.
Okay.
As
You know,
long as
we
it
go-
says Harry Potter and not something else.
Social media posts, making long Facebook posts about how much my partner means to me. I don't know why, but I find public displays like this cringe for
Yeah,
myself.
that's
I
definitely-
do.
yeah.
I do.
I don't care if other people do this, but I don't like putting my relationship on display
That's
on
me.
social
I
media
agree with
to
that.
that level.
I agree
Okay,
with
so
that.
let's
That's
go to
true.
immaturity.
Oh
I'll let you
God.
scroll.
Yeah, I've
down
never
to
done that
that.
before.
I haven't done any of this stuff. Well, until recently, I really
Baby
haven't
talk.
really done any of this
That's
stuff.
fine. Well, wait, that's an immaturity. Calling someone a baby is not immature.
I don't know. Baby talk isn't so bad. I
No,
mean,
yeah, sure,
it
but
depends
not-
on the
get bad. It can
depends
get
on the
bad.
situation. If you're like wanting to get frisky, you might say, "Hey, you want to
Okay,
Yeah,
you remember
exact-
that? Remember that?
come here, little
Seinfeld?
lion," or whatever it is that you want to
Janet.
call them. I mean, I don't think
Janet.
there's anything wrong with that. Do what, Sandy? I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
I had this at lunch the other day. She just talks and talks, and I couldn't get a word in edgewise. You remember the episode on Seinfeld where, they started doing that snoopy and sweet talk to each other in the booth and stuff?
Oh, the other
cringy.
couple, the
Yeah,
baby
I don't
talkers?
like that too much. Now at home, when you're saying, "Hey, baby, can you do this?" and "Oh, you're the best" or whatever, that's different. But so much of a public display of that is nauseating to me.
Well,
That's-
usually when I see that in public, I know that they probably haven't been together very long.
That's true. Or they're early on, early on.
Young, they're young in love.
Right.
Even if they're older, I've met older couples that were, on their third marriage or whatever, and they were all like holding hands and snuggling and doing all that stuff because they're still new. They're wearing off their welcomes, whatever. But I don't
How
think
long
there's
does that
anything wrong
last,
with.
though? How long does
I
that
don't know.
last?
I guess it
It should
depends on
last
the
forever,
couple.
basically.
It should, yeah. I would like it to
It
last
does.
the whole relationship, but
Yeah, if you're truly in love, then it does last forever. If not,
Okay.
So yeah, I know.
I mean, I
how
know
that-
some old couples that still hold hands. My parents were very affectionate for a very, very long time,
Bullshit.
and but they were as they got older, as they got really older, they it just seemed like they settled into their own little niche.
No,
or
it was
whatever.
no, it wasn't like that either. It wasn't a good niche. Mom got really,
Mom got depressed.
she got
from-
really, bitter. That's a good word. Bitter towards the end because he was in his own world. He never really considered her unless he was leaving and seen her head in the chair. At least he knew his stuff was safe if he left the house,
Well, I tried to help Mom with that because Dad became very possessive over his things,
Right.
whatever that, hoarding and things like that, where he didn't like people touching anything. Even
Right.
us, we'd go visit and we'd have to fight with him to move things. So sorry for my mom.
Need
But
to
that
stop
had
doing
nothing
that.
to do with his feelings for her. That was just the problem, his mental problem that he started to have as he got
Right.
older, I think. But go ahead and do the next one. Open door policy.
Yeah.
What does
Well,
that
they don't-
mean?
I don't really talk about
Open door to the bathroom
Who does that?
relationship. Oh my God.
Well, if you want
I
to be
wouldn't do
totally
that.
real, that's what you do.
Now, if I
Hey,
wanted to
I'm
go in there and
sorry.
take a shower or a bubble bath and leave the door open for maybe
That's
an
different.
invite,
You want your alone time.
Yeah, I don't think that's
well,
what we're
for an
talking about
invite,
here.
that'd be different. But for to take a dump, no, I
Now,
don't
there are
want my
some
door
mysteries that
open.
should remain mysteries.
Yes, I agree. What about you, Ruben? Do you want the door open while you're in there doing your personal business?
If I'm in the bathroom, I close the door. Basically, I
Yeah.
do. It's a nice thing
That's
to do.
disgusting.
But again, you know,
I got-
if I'm in there shaving, the door's open or whatever. If I'm in the toilet, then I do close the door. But if I'm shaving, I don't. If I'm in
Yeah.
the shower, I don't. You know, and it's
Yeah.
like vice versa. That's the thing. It's an
It's
invitation.
like number 2, you know, like, damn,
Right.
honey,
That's
that's a
one of
huge
the
number
things-
2.
Yeah, and it's
I
nice
can't
too.
believe you griped at me for wanting to do something with you, and you pull that out your butt. What you crying for?
But it's very special. It is special when you're in the shower. Like I was in the shower, and then my girlfriend came in, and would just start bathing me. So I was in the shower, she came into the shower, so it was very nice. And then
That's different, yeah.
have fun
Yeah,
in there.
see, that's what I'm saying. To leave the door unlocked when you're taking a shower, a bubble bath, something like that. But I think everyone deserves some type of privacy. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. You have to have some boundaries.
Yes.
But I don't know. But be open to trying new things. That type of thing in a
Okay,
relationship.
not that.
I definitely agree with that. No, I'm
What do
not
you want
talking about.
I mean, a woman comes to me like,
No, I'm
know,
not talking about when you're
we
going
should
to the
take it to
bathroom.
the next level, and you should just leave the bathroom open when you're in there, doing your business. Like, why, hon? You know what I'm working
Oh,
with?
now here we go. This is the
Yeah,
one
this
that
one's
all men
terrible.
want. All men
No,
want this.
no,
Every man
no.
that I've ever talked to all want to
really?
have
I
more
want
than
to
one
hear
partner.
the other
Really?
side.
If
No.
every man that you've been with or talked to, then they've got that's
No,
not-
every guy I've ever talked
They
to.
talk about it,
Oh,
but they don't.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know, but I'm
live
saying
that,
they all want
kind
to.
of.
Every man wants to do this.
I
But they all
swear
want a
that's
menage a
fantasy
trois.
It works
for a
until
lot
it
of
doesn't.
people.
What's funny, and every time I've ever talked about this with any man, they've always said they want to do it, but they only want it with the two women.
Yes.
Okay, they don't want
A
another
lot of
man.
fun.
Like,
Lots
why
of
does
men.
the woman have to put up with another woman, but she can't have two guys? If the guy
So-
wants to do it, then he should agree to do it both ways. I
So
think.
so most of the time, well, not most of the time, when it's a threesome, basically, it's always the woman who initiates it. It's two women and then one man, basically. It's the two women who like each other and they have the man go along. That's what I've seen in my
That
experience.
didn't go in my throuple.
That's not how it went in a few other relationships
No,
that
it
I've
didn't
talked
go that
about.
way.
It was always the guy's choice, and he always wanted to pick the
I
other
like to
woman.
think it was a mutual.
But that's very
decision.
that's very difficult. And I don't know.
Yeah.
No, the woman did it, so it was mutual. If the woman accepted it and it went in there with them, or both women and the guy, they all three agreed, then all three of them are in on it. You see what I'm saying? I'm not
True,
saying
true.
it's one person's choice, but what I'm saying is that when the woman says, "Hey, let's bring in another guy," the other guy says no every time.
Correct.
So
But I
it's
think
like
there's a
Well,
distinction
I did.
here.
Yeah, a friend
that's
of
why I
mine.
don't agree with this, because it's either both ways or the highway. To
It
me,
is true because I know a friend of mine that wanted her boyfriend and me, and then the same girl wanted her girlfriend and me. So it's like then you are true. Then it does work that both ways, and
Right.
it should be that way. If
I
need be.
would say that as a distinction when it says open relationships, I take that to mean anybody you can date anybody you like on both sides. When you're talking about a relationship with three people, that's
That's different.
contained within you three people.
Correct.
That
Mhm.
at least that's a distinction that I had that I experienced for a short time when I was experimenting. Both lovely women, both still friends of mine.
The shit show. That's what you gave it to.
But I wouldn't call
Well-
that an open relationship because that's just you're asking for trouble.
Yeah,
Well,
that's true.
That's
to
just
me,
drama that
it's
eventually
definitely-
pops up
to
that you cannot
me,
deal
as
with.
soon as you open the door and let another person into your bedroom when you're in a relationship, it's an open relationship,
Yeah,
because
it's not like
now
a revolving door.
both of you are thinking about the other person. Okay.
Yes.
In the
about
relationship.
me,
So
but-
there's jealousy, on both sides, because the guy could say, well, she sure was all over you, or, I mean, I'm just, throwing that in there
Or-
No,
because
you're correct.
that's,
How
that's,
about this?
that's something that could
You
happen in a
really
relationship
that
just
guy
from
you
the
must
one
have
time.
known before or something like that.
Do what? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Because you talk all the time.
It's my show. I can talk all I want.
Well,
If you're quieter, you'd get more men.
Maybe.
Jesus.
Go ahead, Sandy. Go ahead.
It's like
Go ahead and finish.
like if you're with
What a thing to
like
say.
say you have the extra person in there and that their spouse will go like, well, you seemed really into that. So I think maybe you've seen each other before we had a threesome. And then that, like that jealousy and everything else.
I think that's why men don't want another man in the relationship. They only want another woman because another man would be intimidating to a man. But why would the woman that they're with? Because if you're in a relationship with somebody and you have to bring in someone else to make your relationship more sexy instead of just doing costumes or role playing, things like that, or toys, or doing it outside, or coming up with different scenarios where you meet each other in a restaurant and bump into each other, that kind of stuff.
Be creative.
Fantasy,
I mean,
to me, I'm all into that. I'd be all over that stuff. But the thing is, putting the other person in, I wouldn't agree with. I don't want to share. If I'm not enough for them, you can find someone else. That's
my wife and I did a lot of fun stuff together like that. It's just.
I mean, that's my point of view. But if anybody else has a different view, that more power to them if they can handle that type of responsibility in your relationship. But I know myself, and I don't think I could do it.
You know what, Janet? The chat makes a good point. What if they're twins?
Yeah, if they're twins, then they're still not the same person. Their DNA proves they're not the exact same person.
Aren't they, though?
They think differently.
I can't tell the difference. Is it really a sin?
What's this?
Well, if you're just sleeping with one and you come home and you sleep with them and the other person doesn't tell you they're not the twin, then that's still cheating because you're with someone else. But if you pay for it and you have two girls that look the same, or you pay for two women, or you pay for two guys, then that's totally different too.
Is that like number 5? Don't pay for sex. I never thought about that.
Well, the Bunny Ranch in Las Vegas makes a lot of money because somebody's paying.
The Bunny Ranch is a gift that keeps on giving, is my understanding.
Yeah, from what I've been told. I've been hit on by women in Vegas, but
you sure there are women? In 2023, you never know.
You never know what happens when you bet on
there, darling. I love your hair.
Well, thank you very
much. What's the next one? Staying at home is what?
Giving up a job to be a housewife. Hey, I'm
well, I did that for a while.
50-50.
Yeah, that would piss off my parents.
It's 50-50.
Not for me. I'm at the point now in my life. I don't care if I want the woman to be happy. If she wants to be at home, be at home. If she wants to be at work, be at work. It's a synergy. You both work together. My wife, when we were married, she was going to school, and I helped her, take her to school and all that stuff. She got her bachelor's, master's, and all that stuff. And she spent time at home. And then when she needed to take time off for her grandkids, she did that. And, it was good. And I supported her because, again, the same thing. If I was out running around and I traveled, she would come visit sometimes, or I'd be gone for several months and came back, and, we had fun. But, being at home is not a bad thing.
Right.
Well, if you can afford it. I mean, if you need to both work. But the thing is, if even the situation, it just depends on what you have to have for your household to run. And the thing is, staying at home is not that bad, especially when you're told, wow, the house looks nice, or dinner was wonderful, or you look beautiful today, or you did a great job, and the wife tells the husband, or the one that's not at home, because the guy could be home doing it, taking care of the house and whatever's going on, and him saying, well, I hope you had a great day at work, that kind of stuff. To be there for each other, to be partners and be supportive of either one, because both of them are jobs. Just that one's not bringing in money, it's keeping the other one so that other one can work.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's the way to look at it. Ironing, cleaning, or whatever skill.
And my mother was very much so My mother, when she had the kids, the four of us, she took time off. She said she took the time off and raised us, for about a year. She took a year off each time we had a kid. And I remember when she had the last child and they were going for a daughter. They finally got a daughter, and it was very lucky they got one. I was very happy for them. And I remember when my sister was born, I actually put it on my own volition. I put a suit on because I wanted to welcome my sister into the world. And I remember it was 9, and I said, "Mommy, teach me how to cook." Because I would hear her talk about during the summertime, and her friends would come over for parties, and I would hear them all say the same thing. He leaves a seat up. He doesn't cook. He doesn't sits around watch football. Blah blah blah. All those things. So that's why in my head, I don't like watching foot sports at all. I do the exact opposite. I hate the things that guys do completely. So I know how to cook. I know how to. I do my own laundry. Even
Love
when
this. If you pay for sex, you're paying them to leave. If you don't want a relationship, that's almost perfect. Keep in mind, they are trying to just get you off. They don't know you. So that's really smart. That's a really smart way to look at it, honestly. But I know me, I know myself, and I don't care if I paid him or not. If he tells me, how beautiful I am and he makes me feel good, I'm going to think about him when I'm not with him, and I'll probably keep wanting to pay for him. And then that, what's that going to do to me? So I just
in that case, you need to ask for a loyalty card or some kind of frequent flyer miles. Listen, guys, I want to ask you a question. And I'm kind of an old school guy. My parents elected when they decided to get pregnant with me that my dad would work 3 jobs, my mom would stay home with me, and then my brother and my sister. And I want to ask you guys this.
Okay.
Do you think in 2023, and based on the earlier discussion and the things that are going on in this country and what I said earlier, you look around and you don't recognize anything. Do you think things would be better off if things were more like in the 70s and the 80s growing up, where the mom or one of the parents had stayed home with the kids in the modern era? Do you think we would have the same kind of social issues, the same kind of crime issues, the same kind of delinquency issues that we have today?
No, we wouldn't have. We'd be better off.
Yes.
I think that when we grew up, I guess most of us are pretty, not too far apart in age. When we grew up, we had a mom that was at home and helped us with our homework. She did all kinds of things for us to help us learn about life and prepare us for life, like cooking, cleaning up after ourselves, little things like that. And then Dad would spend time on the weekends showing us to tinker around, mowing the yard, things like that, actual life skills, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I think all of us, when we graduated from high school, we were all ready to get jobs and be working members of society. We were willing to do something. But today we have so many people that are still living in their parents' home, in their 30s. Okay. They're not even trying to finish school. They don't have any motivation to do anything because they don't have to. They've never been told that they have to do anything. Everything's given to them. So I think that if we were still like we were, how we grew up, and our parents were that way, and what's really, great with my family is that all my sisters are the same way. We all wanted to one day be wives and to iron and cook and stuff and be like my mom. It sounds stupid because it's like Leave It to Beaver, I guess, or one of those TV shows where the wife, well, I'm not saying it's stupid to me, because to me, I think that's just what I think we'd be better off, because
you bring up a great point.
A mom home to take care of the kids and help them with their homework and appear for them. You don't latchkey kids, you have
bring up a point where,
and that's what we had,
where you have women being told that staying home, being a homemaker, being a mother to your children, that you're shortchanging yourself. You're not reaching your potential. Get out into the workforce, make a career. Don't worry about having kids until later, if at all. I made a comment to a friend of mine the other day, and we were talking about how things were when we were kids. And I said, you know what? I didn't know at the time, none of us did, but the 80s and 90s for my generation, because I'm Generation X, the golden age. It's a golden age. We didn't have any of these problems. A lot of us had stay-at-home parents. A lot of us, yeah, some of us got in trouble. We didn't have the crime issues. Movies were better, music was better, fashion better, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think a lot of it has to do and I take the stance that obviously, and you had mentioned earlier, if it's something you can afford, if it's something that, or as Ruben said, if both of you agree, that it's good for one or the other, and preferably the wife, to stay at home with, kids or what have you, especially with what's happening in schools, especially what we discussed
Oh,
earlier
yeah.
about, people telling us what a kid should or should not do, or saying, well, we won't tell your parents at home that you're pretending to be the other gender or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And we've gotten away from what worked for everybody, regardless of demographic, regardless of race,
Right.
regardless of everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that has been the cornerstone of not just Western civilization, but all of civilization for millennia. And for the first time on a wide scale, we have convinced people that this is a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you know what? Maybe you
Terrible.
can't afford everything. We had no money growing up. When I
Yep.
say we were poor, I didn't realize until I was older, we were poor.
Yep. We were too.
But you know what? I wouldn't change a thing.
Mm-mm.
I'm a
No.
well-rounded smartass who's rather successful, and I'm doing far better than my parents did at the same age. I
Me
provide
too.
very well for my kids because I had that foundation.
Yeah, I look back at my growing up, and I remember that my mother, for like the first 7 years of my life, made our clothes. She went to fabric, she made it. She cooked our own food. When we go on vacation, we would all stay in one hotel room, and then she would go to the grocery store and buy the food. We'd have ham sandwiches, and there was no McDonald's. That was a treat,
Mm-hmm.
And then she basically, and again, we would just eat there, and that would be it. And then we have a good time. Go to the beach. We'd all be in one little camper, and it was like that was it. So it's just very, that was it. So
I remember we were poor too. We didn't have a lot of money because we were military, and we traveled around and we lived on base. But when my dad got out of the military, we moved to a little tiny house, a 3-bedroom house with 1 bathroom, with 5 kids, and all girls. So my dad never got to the bathroom. But I remember when we were little, and I don't remember where we lived. I think it might have been in Spokane, Washington, or maybe it was in Orlando because we weren't very old. I think I was like 6 or 7. Sandy and I are very 1 year difference, barely a year.
Yeah.
I remember for dessert, this is what my mom would make us, and we just thought we were we were so rich. We felt so rich. She would bring out, after we cleaned our plate, she would bring out a little one of my grandma's dishes that my mom got from her, a little china, and she'd have a piece of lettuce on it with a slice of pineapple and a little dollop of cottage cheese on it with a cherry on top. And she'd bring it out to us, and we would sit and eat that, and we felt like we'd have our pinky up while we were eating it, thinking, oh, we got something. This is great, because cottage cheese was very expensive, and so was pineapple. And I just remember that, and it just made us feel so special. And I think she tried to do it like once a week if we were good and we did our homework or we cleaned our room or whatever it was. For a long time, for many years, we thought that was awesome. And do you remember that, Sandy?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it was a really awesome thing that my mom would do for us, and she just did the best she could with what she had. I'm gonna get emotional. I'll have to get off.
Yeah, we did all that stuff, Yeah, like when, and it was always it was a ritual, where we would have my mother would get home from teaching, and then we she'd make the meal, and then we'd all sit there and we'd eat and all that stuff. And they had the TV tables for mother and father. I had my little desk, and that stuff. And then then we had to clean up. We always clean up, and we all had our tasks to do around the house. And the weekends would be like cookout. My father watches football games, and then but it was productive. We had stuff to do. Mow the lawn, do this, do that. The game was on. It's game break, do that and all that stuff. So it was just, coordinated. So it was just, a lot going on. And then the food thing was big. It's like, I would say, Mommy, make me the sandwich because you're making the best sandwiches.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, it is.
Speaking
I
of
mean,
course,
we were lucky. I mean, we were lucky because the kids growing up right now in the times that they're in right now aren't going to have a clue what we had. Even if we were to tell them about it, they wouldn't understand. They wouldn't get to see it through our eyes and understand what our parents did and what they sacrificed to give us a roof over our head and healthy food to eat and to try to keep us safe. Even though they couldn't be with us every minute. Because I don't know. I just feel like I just feel very blessed. I mean, I got a lot of whoopings for doing dumb shit. But I deserved it. As an adult, when I look back, I know I deserved what I got, and I wish it could have lasted a little longer. But
What the
I'm
whooping?
thankful for it. No,
I know.
be a kid.
But the thing is that also, like when you the first time that you cooked or you tried to replicate your mother's meal or did something,
Yeah,
or,
it wasn't good. Now, Sandy, she's a really good cook. I mean, she can make candy. She can make bread. I mean, she's just anything she
I was the
touches in
same
the
thing. I was
kitchen
the
is
one because
wonderful.
it's funny. It's funny.
Isn't it funny? It is, Ruben. It is funny.
I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest. I'm the one I'm the cook. My brother somewhat does it, and then I don't know if the other two, they don't cook. My sister doesn't cook. Just weird.
Wow.
I'm a man. I don't cook either. I grill.
Yeah, yummy.
I do. I cook, I bake, I grill, I barbecue, I do all that stuff. So
awesome.
Well, let's get finished with this article.
TV shows.
So it's the TV shows. Now, what about it? Going on in any type of TV show. Another user responded, if you want to go on a TV show like Naked and Afraid, go for it. Do not ask me to go on any show.
It's more like
so
being.
Would you do that as a couple?
What the hell kind of?
Any of you?
Who brought this up? Is this like over a dinner thing? And like,
no, this is what I said. I found this weird article I was reading. I was like, we got to have this on the show. Who does
this one is weird. That TV shows?
No, any of these things. Pretty much all of them are weird.
That's too
But
weird.
yeah, who would do that? Would you go on a show with your significant other?
No.
Like that, a TV show like that, like like Survivor or
that's all. I'd leave her ass behind. She's probably too slow.
But this takes the whole like the Facebook posting or public displays of affection to the ultimate level, going on national television.
I wouldn't go on Naked and Afraid anyways because I'd be too embarrassed to be naked on TV.
I only dated one person that had the winning drive that I got.
That's a couple, pretty much. If you look into the history of it, they're not a couple anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay. Why is that? Okay.
Now I know someone in my own family that did this, Sandy. Converted to a religion to be with someone.
I know.
I would expect that.
Too.
Yeah, our youngest sister changed her religion. I won't mention what religion or anything, but she changed her religion to get married. And I don't.
It's Muslim, isn't
no.
it? It was Muslim.
No,
I don't. It's not a Muslim. But the thing is that I wouldn't do it.
Muslim.
And I wouldn't.
Not a you.
I also, I had one person ask me when I was in high school because it was a big case. I don't remember for sure what it was called, but I remember it was a big case on TV, and it was some famous couple that was getting divorced, and she was asking for a whole bunch of money because they had a kid together, and she had signed a prenup. And they were trying to say that he didn't have to pay the money because she signed a prenup, and she ended up winning because she had a kid or whatever. But they asked me if I would sign a prenup, and I said, hell no, I wouldn't. If he wanted me to sign a prenup, then he doesn't want to marry me. He can go find someone else. So I remember that article. But would you guys do that? Would you guys sign a prenup if you were marrying somebody that was way richer than you, and they said you have to sign a prenup?
Wait, am I the rich one or is she?
No, if you two guys met a woman and she was a multimillionaire or whatever, and you guys supposedly had a whirlwind relationship and you guys fell in love, would you sign a prenup? If she says, I want to get married, but you have to sign a prenup.
Sure. I'm a self-made man. What do I care?
Would you, Ruben?
No.
So would you, Sandy?
No. I mean,
but the caveat there for me is if things went wrong, I just walk away. I wouldn't ask for anything.
Exactly.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, but usually a prenup is to keep you from getting things, taking more than you deserve or whatever.
Right.
But I don't see, for me, I don't
Now,
care.
I wouldn't
don't need
take,
You know
anything.
I
what?
wouldn't
I
take what
would
I didn't think I deserved either.
I would
But
probably
I
sign
can
one,
understand why people want people to sign a
Janet.
prenup, because I've met a lot of people that are very grubby and would take everything they could get their fingers on.
Janet.
Yeah, I know women personally that would do a prenup.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
definitely.
Sandy, go ahead.
I would sign one because of the fact that if I was in a relationship with somebody and I was getting to the point of marriage, I would love them. Now, if they signed one because they felt like I was gonna take all their money, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Them, but if I loved them, I would sign it because I wanted to be with them.
But
Yeah.
see, I wouldn't. To me, they wouldn't love me. They wouldn't trust me enough.
Well,
If
that
I
was
could,
so,
if they said they could die for me or they would die for me, and I said I would die for them, then they wouldn't need a prenup. So I wouldn't sign one. That
But if I
meant
was
to me
fishing up a
that would be
prenup-
the death sentence for my relationship.
I could pay someone to die for you.
I agree, Ruben.
Do what? Emperor, what'd you say?
No, let's move on.
I'll move on. Okay. Being responsible. What's the next one?
Hygiene. Oh my God.
I'm not sure if it's weird or I am, but taking responsibility for my partner. For example, their emotions, their debt, their problems they've created for themselves. I get caring about a person and want to take care of them, but to me, that's something you do because you care, not because they've abdicated your responsibility. That's interesting.
That's
I never
very
thought
good
about
one
anything like that
there.
before.
I mean, I'll answer this one.
Okay, go ahead.
I've always felt like married, I have a job, I do my part because they work hard. And if they're working for one part of our group or our family unit, like say when he had his job and stuff, I worked, but I didn't cause any problems for the family money. You know what I'm saying? For the bills and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I had a job. I made sure I paid for vacations and Christmas and all the outings and everything that we did and stuff, because you don't take from what you're building together, right? To have a retirement and all that stuff. And that's why I've always worked. I felt like if you're going to contribute, if you're not going to be home since you don't have no kids anymore at home, then you get out, you do your fair share. Okay. I feel like people that just say, well, he works, he should take care of me. I just think that that's just wrong. What are you doing at home? What are you doing to contribute to this relationship? Because I'm all about, I love marriage. I think marriage is great. And I do think that if I were with a man, they should be on a pedestal because they do so much for me. And if they're doing so much for me, then I'm going to do so much for them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that's what this article is about. I think this is about you get in a relationship and you find out they owe a bunch of bills.
Oh,
should you have to be responsible for them?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what I think the article means.
I would take
the thing is, if you're in a relationship and you're actually talking to each other about your life and what you want in your future, those things, you're going to find out that they have debt. So if you find out that they owe $50,000 in college debt and you still want to marry them, then you are taking on the responsibility.
Yes, that's true.
Pretty much what I was saying.
So to me, that's whether you love them or not and you want to work it out because it's part of your relationship.
Well,
True.
But a real relationship, you're going to talk and find out things about each other.
Right.
So that's what I think.
What I was saying was that I wouldn't enter a relationship unless we did talk about it. Okay. And if I had debt, I wouldn't expect the person I became in a relationship with to pay my debt, is what I'm saying. I would work to pay my own debt.
Well, the thing is, Sandy, let's say you decided you wanted to get married and you went to college and you owed $30,000 in debt, but then you get pregnant right after you get married, and then now you can't work to pay your debt. So now your husband is now responsible to pay your debt.
I would discuss that with him and tell him that once I get back to work, I'm going to contribute.
Right.
And if I can't work, then I'm going to do everything I can to make it easy for him because he is. I would mow the yard like I have. I have done all these other things because I wouldn't expect him to kill himself at work and then kill himself at home and do all these things and come home and not have a meal for him and not have laundry done. And, because that's what makes a man be able to go to work and have clean clothes. He can't go to work and look like shit. I'm got to do my job,
I know. That's how we were raised. to be
But
good
that's what I'm
wives.
saying. I've done it. I've been in the customer service for 30-something years, and I've listened to all kinds of women just say, "Well, he owes me," or this and that, and I'm thinking, "But what have you done?" And
But see, that's another thing.
for
When
me.
you've been married for 20 years to
Yeah.
somebody and you've been a stay-at-home mom and you've
Mhm.
taken care of the house and everything, and you have done it. Okay, you open the cabinet and you got clean dishes because you washed them,
Right.
or clean clothes hanging in the closets, right? And then you find out that he's cheating on you or whatever, and you guys end up filing for divorce, and then he doesn't want to give you half, even though
Well,
everything
this
he's
is what
built.
I say to
Wait
that.
a minute, Sandy, I'm not finished. Even though everything that you have together is because you got married right out of high school and you worked your relationship all the way up to that, but because you didn't take a job, you stayed home and take care of the house and took care of the stuff around the house so he could go to work. Now he doesn't think you deserve half of it because you're not worthy. You're not worth it because you
Okay.
weren't.
My-
You were worthless. That's why he was
remember
cheating on you in the first
Do you
place.
remember Patty? How
Yeah.
she had like $10,000?
Yeah, but
Okay.
she was having to sneak money and
I
put.
don't
And
care how she did it, but she had it.
okay. Oh, every woman, Sandy, that's married isn't smart enough or thinking ahead that, oh, her husband's going to cheat on her by the
Okay.
time they've been married for 20 years.
That's true. You know what
She's
I did?
mad about it, so she
better
better
work my
stash some
butt
money
off.
away to take care of
That's why
herself.
I
That's
wonder why
living in
men
a
are beaten
lie.
down.
That's a lie of a relationship.
That's true, but that's why if you're a person who's responsible, like I got my house. My house is. I don't have any bills. Okay,
Mhm.
I made it so that I have no house payment, no credit card debt, nothing.
Yeah, but were you stashing the money away from the first day you got married because you thought your husband was going to cheat on you
And
where
and
do
you
you
weren't
keep
going to have anything when he left you for the other woman? Were you thinking about that when you first got married? Because if you get into a relationship automatically thinking
I was in a
that
different
he's going to
mindset.
leave you, then that's not a
Yeah.
good relationship to begin with.
I was always thinking that way. That's why I didn't get married right out of high school. That's why I
I
did.
guess that's why I was stupid.
No, you weren't
Because
stupid.
I was
You
naive.
weren't stupid.
But let's
I
go on
just
to the
felt
next
like-
thing.
Okay.
Let's go on to the next thing.
we
That's
don't-
enough.
Hygiene.
Sorry.
Hygiene.
Share a
Sharing a toothbrush.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
I've heard this a lot. Would you guys do that? Share a
It de-
toothbrush?
It depends. If you
Hell yeah, I would.
Yeah, if you like when we went to Hawaii one time and then she forgot a brush, so use mine. Doesn't matter. Whatever. My mouth's in your mouth. Whatever. That's
I
fine.
mean, you kiss, right? You deep.
So, Emperor, would you share a toothbrush?
I mean, we've swapped every other bodily fluid. If that's all we had was just one
Exactly.
toothbrush to go,
Okay, that's great. We all agree that we would
Yeah.
all share a toothbrush. I think that's awesome because I would.
Yes, I would.
I mean, if I'm doing some of the other things, I think I can handle a toothbrush.
Right.
No.
This user shared focusing on yourself in bed with someone who needs totally different sleeping conditions than you.
No.
Forcing yourself to sleep with someone. Like, let's say they snore, or they have to have their bed lifted up with like 3 pillows, something like that. I think we all deal with that, don't we? When you get used to the person snoring, or the person having to have their pillow under their knees, things like that. I think that's normal. Do what?
Together.
Oh no! Yeah, you don't judge me when I say that this woman could rattle the shutters. I do not lie.
I believe you. I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
But they're still married. I don't know of anyone that's gotten a divorce or separated or anything because someone snored.
Oh no, I didn't divorce her because she snored bad. That was just like a cherry on the top.
Well, I know,
when
but
I got
I'm
to
just
the laundry
saying.
list at the end, I'm like, and you snore, you bitch.
Well, yeah, I guess you could add that later on to hurt somebody's feelings.
No, I didn't actually make a list, and I didn't actually. Well, hon, straw that broke the camel's back was the fact that you keep cracking in the windows, and I haven't slept in 19 years. No,
or the paint's falling off the ceiling.
Yeah, you learn to sleep a certain way, especially. Well, for me, with my wife, it was the position that was easiest for us to have sex right away. So
Yeah.
it was funny that when we laid there, it was we which side do you want? This side, this side. We tried whatever, but then we figured out which way was more like, okay, this is better for us because we could do this real fast. It was like fun, wait.
So wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Go to sleep.
I couldn't have sex if I hadn't slept in 19
But again,
years.
to have a woman on your chest sleeping and then she falls asleep is the best thing.
There's
Yeah, I
nothing
remember
more sexy
when
than-
I had my baby and I lay her little head right between my boobs and her little arms hanging over the side of my chest, a newborn. That's a nice thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not a relationship. Okay, is there another one? Sharing locations. Okay. Location
No.
trackers on phones.
No.
No.
I get some couples use it to track location for other reasons other than their suspicions, such as gauge to start dinner, make sure they're okay if they're running late. But to me, it screams, "I don't trust you."
Whatever happened to
That's
just
right.
calling or texting, hey, are you on your way home? Hey,
Yep.
are you running late?
You're
There you
right.
go.
You
But
don't need to know.
let me ask you
every
this.
strip club I've been to while I'm supposed to be working. It's not your business.
Right.
But let me ask you this. If you're a parent and you have children that drive, would you want to have a location device on their
Yes.
phones?
That's
that you
different.
would-
This is a
Yes,
relationship.
I'm
versus
not saying that
parenting.
it isn't
Yes.
different. I'm saying, would you want it for your
I
children?
can see the value of that. Yes.
Yeah, I could definitely. Could you, Sandy?
Okay. I
your
think
child?
that would be for my child. Yes.
Yeah, I think we all agree on that too. Yeah, I wouldn't want a location device telling me where I'm at. Tick, tick, tick,
Hey,
driving down
what
the
about
road.
this? What about this? When you're on like a social app like Facebook or whatever, and you meet a new guy, and you have to delete all your guy friends because it's a new guy. What do you think about that?
I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't either.
What?
But yeah,
I was a tomboy. All my friends were guys when I first started dating.
a friend named Trilla. Every time she gets a boyfriend, she has to delete all her male friends when she gets a new boyfriend.
That's some controlling nonsense. Then
That-
that's
I
beyond.
wouldn't date that guy.
Yeah, that's weird.
No, she does.
That's not
Not
normal.
the guy. It's the girl.
And that's
Oh,
fine if that's your
No,
hang up.
I wouldn't date that girl either.
Purge everybody I
If
know
my
because
guy
I'm dating
friend
some
told me
plan.
that his new
Right.
girlfriend said, "Oh, you got to delete everybody. You can't talk to any women," then I would say you need to run. That person's
There you
not a good fit
There
for you
I was-
because I don't think that's not normal.
That's what I was wondering.
Expecting you to change your whole life because you're dating
it's not
someone is not a good sign for a relationship.
No.
At least I
Yeah,
wouldn't
for
do
me,
that.
when I was traveling, again, this is pre iPhone. I had a Sony Ericsson, and it had tracking on it, so I put it on for myself, for my wife, so she'd know where I was because I was traveling all over the United States.
Traveling.
So it's like, where are you today? Where are you this and that?
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
same thing happened to her when she did travel because she went to Cancun and then it was on. And that's, that was how I verified, what happened to her in Mexico. So she, I could track it down. So it was all good.
Right. Traveling is another thing. If you're traveling and you know they're on the road,
Exactly.
you want that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's not a bad thing, but
Right.
doing it for, I want to know where you are all the time. Oh, fuck, that's stupid.
That's ridiculous,
Yeah.
right?
That's a bad relationship.
I hate that. You got nothing to hide.
Marriage
What do I do at this
traditions.
What's that mean?
If I get married, I'm never under any circumstances doing the garter toss,
What?
changing your last name, things
Again,
like
who
that.
does
Would you
this?
guys do that? I would definitely. To me, that's an honor. As a young girl growing up and having my mom, be married and show me her wedding dress and all that stuff. I dreamed of one day being a beautiful bride, even though I ended up eloping over to the courthouse and got married as a teenager, and I wasn't pregnant either. But that was just because we wanted to do something fast. And he had lots of money. His family was rich. And all I could think of was how embarrassed my mother would be if she had to have a wedding, have rich people come to it because she wouldn't be able to afford to have a big fancy wedding. So I just said I would elope. That way it's cheap. I don't have to have my parents pay for it. And it's just a piece of paper.
That's right.
That's how I looked at it. So, and my mother had already went through a wedding with my oldest sister and spent a whole bunch of money on it. And it was a beautiful outdoor wedding. And for the dresses and all that, I just couldn't see the need to do that to my mom and dad because I knew they didn't have the money.
Yeah, I know when I got married, well, my parents didn't want me to marry. Her family didn't want to marry, so we had to go to justice of the peace. It was just a witness. We married secretly, per se. It's not secretly, but there it is. And then my parents never talked to her, so it's interesting.
But also, the guy that I met, I had just graduated from high school, and I only know him like 2.5 months, and then he got orders to go to another state for his job, and he told me he loved me, and I said, well, I'm not going with you. I'm not going to live with you. I don't believe in living with someone I don't, that I'm not married to. So that's why we left. So
Okay.
I'd go because I wasn't going to go with him if I didn't have a ring on my finger, because that was not my mother. I would never be able to look my mother in the face. So that was why I got married.
Have any of us ever gone or heard of a wedding that didn't have a garter toss or a bouquet toss?
I didn't have that because I didn't have anybody. I didn't have a bridesmaid or anything.
I mean, but refused to do it, not because you didn't.
Oh, refused.
No, I've never been to an actual
Reddit thing says. And
wedding.
I understand Reddit's just a short hop, skip, and a jump from 4chan, but I mean, that seems like a weird line in the sand to draw. Like, I will not marry you if I gotta throw a garter. Okay, hon. Who says that?
No, I never heard that. Have you seen it?
No.
No,
right there says if I get married, I don't understand.
One person who publicly has said that they don't want to do a garter toss is Chrissy Mayer.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
She said
She
that.
being funny when she said it.
I hope she was
She's
being
always
funny.
funny.
I hope she's being funny.
I think she was probably kidding. I mean, isn't that what she does for a living? Posting lovey-dovey smooching photos on social media makes my stomach turn. I don't have a problem with that.
No, I don't have a problem with it, but I don't do it either. It's none of your. I don't like displaying that for the rest of the world. I'm a very private person.
I'm with Emperor on that. Yeah.
I don't know. I've had pictures of me hugging and kissing my mom in front of Mount Rushmore, and I've had other family pictures like that. I've had pictures of me with my husband. I'm talking about kissing my partner on a cruise ship or other things like that, and posting those. I have done that and shared them with my friends on my phone or whatever. Yes.
Occasionally that's okay, but constantly that's just
no. I don't. It doesn't say constantly. Yeah. It just says posting. It just says posting photos.
Posting it here and there. Okay. Sure.
I don't have a problem with a few things. Pet names. No, I've never had that. Like Pookie or some stupid shit like that. I've never done that.
Master. Sorry.
Asshole. Yeah. Hey, asshole. What's going on?
Hey, that's a term of endearment.
or cuck. I've heard people call all kinds of names, but never pet names. Do you have a pet name, Sandy?
No.
Did you, Ruben? Did you have a pet name for your sweetheart?
Yeah. I used to call him Honey or something like that. Yeah. Nothing like.
I did. I called her
Snookums. No, nothing like that.
I had a girlfriend I had a pet name for. I called her Bast. She was like a cat, like really into cats, and it's like she was into Egyptian stuff and the cat god, so I called her Bast.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Isn't that clever? Yeah.
That's very
cool. I don't think there's anything wrong with having a pet name. I'm just saying I never did that. I just never had a nickname or anything until now. And I had that one.
I only called them by their name and not like Honey Pookums in front of anybody else. No, I was like,
well, my mother told me this once. I think I was 16, and I don't know why it came up, but maybe it was my older sister was talking about that her boyfriend or whatever had a nickname for her, and he was calling her I don't know, some flower or something like that. And I asked my mom about it. I said, do you think that's weird? Because she was telling me how sweet it was, my oldest sister. And my mom said, well, I don't like men that call girls different names like that. And I was like, why? She goes, I don't trust them. And I'm like, why? She said, because that means they have girlfriends because they call all of them the same nickname. That's what my mom told me. I'm just telling you what I was
girlfriends have first names too.
I never did that.
Yeah, but if you do it in public, then it is what it is. So
I'm not saying it's not true. It's I've never.
I know.
So I'm just telling you what my mother told me.
I gotta be honest with you. I just like it when my partner uses my name.
That was my mother's point of view.
Right, Emperor.
I like it's like not hey you or nothing. It's like hey, Emperor. I like having just my name used.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That in and of
Yeah.
itself is rare.
Yeah, I like my name. I think I have a pretty name. My mother named me that, so I enjoy it. Submissive attitudes. Oh, interesting.
I think that depends on in what situation.
It says being submissive outside the bedroom. LOL.
Okay.
It says, and then it says bowling down to my significant,
Bowing down.
bowing down to my significant other every
Others, every
word.
word.
Now that I cannot stand.
No.
No, I can't
I
either.
expect submission
But I
in the
have
bed.
seen that.
Outside it, I cannot abide by that. I have
Yeah.
to have a woman who is my equal intellectually and
Partner.
in attitude. I'm not saying you have to have the overconfident, flamboyant assholishness that is a successful emperor before you,
Damn
but
straight, Emperor.
I need a woman of substance.
There
Yeah.
you go. Damn straight.
Someone you can have a conversation with
Yes, and
on
push
an
back
equal
if she doesn't agree with
basis.
me, and
Yeah,
then
I
make a
think
point
that's
as to why.
important in a relationship.
Exactly.
I mean, someone you respect their opinion. You know what I mean? How can you spend or think about spending the rest of your life with someone when you don't respect the way that they think or what they have to say or to listen to them? You know, to sit and listen to what they have to say and not judge them because of it. Because if you want to be treated a certain way, then you should be willing to do the same thing for the person that you're in the relationship with. At least that's how I look at it.
That's I agree with that.
Losing independence. Can I say being in a relationship at all? Yes, you can. So you are in a relationship now, so you're not independent anymore. See, that's another thing I'm always saying to everybody is to be yourself.
Yeah.
And don't give up all your friends. Still have days where you do things with your friends or your family, because just because you love hanging out with all your sisters doesn't mean that your significant other would want to be dragged and hang around with all 5 of your sisters or your brothers or whatever else, or all your friends.
Yeah,
So
I know.
going bowling or golfing or other things that you already did before, I think you should still do it, because when you stop doing the things that made you happy, you're not the person that you fell in love with anymore. You
Right.
know, there's somebody, you're turning them into something they're not. But if you want to go and ride along in the golf cart, you know, and cheer him on, or go watch the baseball game that he's playing in, or things like that, or he comes and watches you while you're bowling on your bowling league, that's great, because that's a kind of a get mad at them because they don't want to go do it, or they want to go do something with their friends. I still think that you should keep your friends
Yeah,
and
that's true.
nurture your relationships that you had before you even met,
Exactly.
because
Yeah.
they're attracted to you for a reason, and it's because of who you are and who your friends are already
True.
that made you who you were
They
in the
better not
first
be attracted to
place.
me because of who my friends are. Or they got some questions to answer.
Okay, conjoining nicknames.
Oh my God.
Coming up
No.
with a couple name. Oh my
No,
God.
Stellar.
No, I would never do
No.
that.
No, that's
This is
terrible.
First
Everyone
half of
too
your
much.
name and the last half of their name. No freaking way I would do that.
Moving on.
If somebody told me that, I would say, see ya.
Next.
Overly flirtatious? There's no overly flirtatious.
I agree with that. There is no overly flirtatious, because I am very flirtatious. I say all kinds of stuff. You see my Twitter, I post all kinds of sexual shit. But it doesn't mean that I want to have sex with everybody.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
been
write
that
that
way her
down.
whole life, as far as I can tell.
Oh, so you're teasing everybody. Oh, okay. All
I'm
right.
a horrible,
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah, she loves it. She's
I
always
think
done
it's
it.
fun. I think it's in a funny way. It's good. If you're meaning it to just be fun and flirtatious, and you don't expect to cross the line, hey, I'm all there.
Yeah.
But the chase is only fun if you catch the prey at the end.
That's if you're single, but not when you're married. And I've had that problem.
Oh, well, I'm
with,
single, so.
married people, they cross the line a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, I'm afraid to read this next one. Grooming habits.
Oh my God.
What the hell?
Popping your partner's pimples. And I
Yes!
hear other couples
Yes,
say
that's
they
true.
do this. I
Yeah.
want to puke. I couldn't do it.
I love it.
I did
That's
that.
That was my business.
I have friends though that watch that nasty show, the pimple popper lady.
Yeah,
It's
Sandra.
disgusting.
Well,
Oh
yeah. Well, sometimes.
not into
Yeah.
it.
Well, I helped her if need be. You know. 'Cause
Oh.
yeah.
Now, hey, if he wanted me to cut his fingernails or his toenails and to file his nails or put lotion on his feet, stuff like that. Now that's different.
Yeah.
Or help him soap him up in the bathtub or the shower,
Yes.
things like
Yes.
that, or put
Yeah, that's
lotion
fine.
on him, or rub his back, or comb his hair, things like that, or trim his, his back of his neck where the hair is, or on his sideburns and stuff. I would do that. But popping pimples or stuff like that. Now, if he got cut, he got a boo-boo, and I had to put Band-Aids on it or something like that and clean it up, I could do that. But
Yeah. Or when they're
doing
very
that
sick.
type
Yeah.
of thing, no, thank you. And I would never ask a guy to do that to me.
Well,
No way.
Well, I did it. I did all three
Not
of
for
those
$1 million.
You did all three of those? Wow.
Well, I'll say it this way. My wife fell, and when we got married, fell and broke her in the back. And
Oh,
then,
my God.
And then I helped her, and then a display crushed her feet about 7 years later. So I did take care of her that time, and I sprayed my ankle, and then she took care of me. And then with my father, I took care of him. I moved in with him for a year after he had his heart attack. And then my mother, that's the most surreal. When my mother, before she died, I actually would help my father change my mother. I moved in there. I stayed down there for a couple months while she was, as she was about to die, and I took care of her. So it's basically the same thing. It's like my mother fed me, so I fed my mother. So I took care of her. So that's fine. So that's a thing. And then the same thing happened with my friend of my best friend. She's now gone too. There, she was sick, and I took her to the hospital because no one would take her, and you do it. And then the same thing happened when she had to take care of her, and help her dress, and because she couldn't walk too, and I took care of her. So you just do what you can't do for somebody you love.
That's true. That's true. Absolutely true. Mm-hmm. Are you okay,
Yeah.
Ruben?
That's
fine.
sweet.
Okay.
That's sweet because I didn't think about it that way at all. I mean, if somebody was, bedridden or something like that, because we all helped with our mother when she was sick and she was diagnosed with cancer, and before she had surgery and all that different stuff. And then after she had surgery, we all took turns going through their house and helping to cook and clean and take care of my dad. The ones that, that were close enough to be able to do that, because Jennifer lived too many states away, so she couldn't help. But the rest of us were, within a few states, we were able to take turns tag teaming and doing that.
Right.
So we were lucky to be in that position. And my mom was lucky to have us to be able to do that and not have to hire someone to come and help.
Real quick.
Because I never thought of it that way, though. So I guess the circumstances, it would matter the circumstances of why you were put in a position to do that. Because when you do love someone, you could do that for them in that situation.
100%. 100%. You take care of them.
Because I have done that for loved ones.
Let
But
me ask the panel real quick something. What
yeah.
about
Go ahead.
personal grooming habits? Do you have, because this is talking about grooming each other, do you have personal habits that you expect your partner to, abide by, like manscaping, or perhaps you want floorboards, or please dye your hair every 3 months, or for love of God, trim your beard, or no beard?
Well,
or grow a
if
beard?
I was in a relationship and there was something that my new relationship person wanted me to try, I might try it for them. And if I liked it myself, I might keep doing it. Yeah, I could see I could do that. And I guess it would depend. Like if I met him and we started a relationship, and let's say he had a really bad hairy back or something like that, I would ask him to,
Ugh.
shave his back or use nair on it or something. For me, because I don't know how I just don't know how I'd react depending on the situation, because I'm not around a lot of other people. So I don't know how I would respond to the way that they looked or whatever. I guess it would have to do with learning about the person in the relationship and figuring out what you like.
Yeah. And that's how it is. When you first meet the person, right away. Do they show?
Well, you wouldn't if they're wearing
nice,
clothes.
looking bad,
I wouldn't
looking
know
bad.
if he had a hairy back unless I went swimming with them. So what
true.
I'm saying is, as your relationship progresses, you would learn more secret things that they don't normally just tell people.
Right.
You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? I wouldn't
Could
put my
ask
feet in his
outright.
lap and say, "Oh, look at my surgery I had on my feet. Do you like my toenails?" You know, I'm not gonna. I don't. That's not something I'm gonna do
I
to
wouldn't.
somebody unless I know them really well.
I wouldn't say you have to do this or you have to do that. But if they suggested, hey, would you try this? Well, hell yeah, I would. You know, if I don't like it, I won't keep it up. If he wanted me to do it and he said, I really like it if you would, then I would do it for a while. But after a while, I would say, listen, you know, this is a lot of work. Either you're going to have to put the time in to keep it trimmed down there, or, you know, it's just going to go back to the way it was.
Everything grows back. Well, except for toes and fingers. But okay, well, let's go to the next one. Here's the friends one.
Hope you're not asking to cut off their toes and fingers.
Not allowing
grooming
my
habit.
spouse to hang out one-on-one with people of his preferred sexual preference.
How sad. I would definitely let them.
That's exactly what we were talking about earlier, about not letting the new person have the friends that
Yeah,
they
same
had
thing.
before. See, I
But there's a
wouldn't do that.
distinction here. Like, I happen to be friends with some of my ex-girlfriends, and I still talk, and I play softball with one. I play games with another.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Would that be acceptable to you ladies if
Yes.
your significant other
Yeah,
said, you know what, I'm
I
still
wouldn't have
hanging
a
out with
problem
my
with it.
ex-girlfriend.
Now, if
I would have a problem with that.
if I'm dating someone and I find out they're a porn star,
That's
then
different.
that
That
would
wouldn't
affect
matter
my
to me.
relationship anyway.
That's a
because
job.
That's not something I
No,
do it.
that
That's
wouldn't
what I'm
matter
talking
to
about.
me. Even
As
if-
their job, I wouldn't.
That's a
I wouldn't keep
career.
dating them.
For me,
But what I'm saying is, I wouldn't date someone who was a porn star. No, not
if
personally.
I had a
Because that's them
groomsman-
having relations with other people all the time. My self-esteem wouldn't be able to deal with it. So I would say no in that relationship.
I
But
would
if other
say-
people want to do it, that's fine. But my personal choice, no, I wouldn't be able to do that. But I can tell you right now, if I was to start a relationship, I wouldn't want them to make me stop being friends with all my guy friends. I have lots of
Right.
guy friends,
Mhm.
which is totally platonic. I've had friends for 5 years or more, and nothing's ever happened because I'm just not that. That's not my view on my relationships of my friends, and I can look at them as friends. And I believe men can have women as friends. And I might be rare in that aspect of it, but I'm a firm believer that you can have a relationship that's platonic with you have opposite sex. I do believe
Yeah.
that. So I would not demand my new man or whatever to give up all his friendships with women. I just think
I
that's
wouldn't
stupid.
care, even if they were a porn star. I wouldn't care. I mean, because if he loved me, he would be true to me, and if he didn't, then that would prove to me
Well,
that.
how can he be true to you when he's sleeping with people for a
Because he's
living?
being paid to. He has to. It's
No,
his job.
I'm
He
saying
sleeps with
that
you because
my-
he wants to. He sleeps with them because he has to.
I
No.
would think that
Uh-uh.
I would think that if my boyfriend had a friend that was an ex porn star and he wanted to keep hanging out with her because he had I was like,
Said
hey,
porn star.
I would say, hey, as long as you guys are keeping it platonic, I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
And if I have a social media account, I would make sure that they could get on my social media account and see everything that I do, and not have to worry about them hovering over my phone or anything.
Right.
We weren't.
Well, if a
we weren't
person has
together,
to
we were
hover
just
over
being
the other
seen.
person's phone, then they already don't have trust already.
That's right. So that would be a problem, but I don't have a problem. Everything I do is on social media. That's fine. It's for everybody to see. So if my ex or whoever wants to see it can't see it, then oh well, that's their problem. But I don't have anything to hide.
See, that's part of my problem is that I share too much, I think. When I get to feel comfortable with somebody, I tell them all kinds of things, and I feel like I'm an open book. And that's part of the bad quality of me is that I share too much information I don't think I should share. And I wish I could learn to just say, zip it shut and don't say
You
shit.
can't just say, no, I'm not going to do it.
I just turn around and leave because I find myself saying stuff I wish I hadn't said. I just, and that's the one flaw that I have in myself, and I've had it my whole life, and I wish I didn't. But okay, we'll go to the next one. Photo shoots. I get it for big occasions like engagements, weddings, and pregnancy. But like every Christmas, every Valentine's Day, every anniversary, why? I've never done
Every
it,
lunch date, why? I mean, photos. If we're gonna do photos, I hate.
No, I haven't. I've never done that. So
Yes, you have.
if other people
You guys want to do pictures all the time.
No, I don't.
Like
Okay.
professional pictures, or hey,
No,
everybody get together,
like,
we're gonna take a
hey,
snapshot.
Here we are, just take a picture. And then if you're like turning halfway and you got a blurred face, they post it on social media. It's like,
No,
Or
not
you're
that.
bending
yeah,
over or
No,
doing
not.
or
something.
it's
Yeah.
like, hey, at least give me an
Hey,
opportunity
we have
to see if it
four.
looks
We
like
got to remember,
shit or
Sandy and
not.
I have 3 sisters besides us. And when we're all together and it's Thanksgiving or Christmas and they're just snapping shots, and then the next thing you know, you find out, oh, look, they send you something in sister chat and it's got like 7 pictures of you bent over or doing stupid stuff in the yard because they're just taking pictures and you don't even know they took them. But they're
Well,
posting them on social media. I'm like, what
Or
the?
somebody has a
well, I
butt
don't do
pic.
that. I love
Well, what I'm
photography.
saying, in our
I
family,
know.
we've dealt with that kind of shit. So, yeah.
Well, I love photography, and that's
Yeah.
something for my entire life. So what I usually
Awesome.
do is I take pictures of like just scenery.
Mhm.
But when I was married, and I basically would just I would just see her in a certain way. So I say, "Don't move," and I would take a picture, and I would just do that, and I would show her, and she would go, "What did you just do?" It's like amazing because again, I just I that's what I love. I love that. I love, that's why I say photo shoots. I think it's more like artistically that done. But I don't post them; they're also for us privately. And
Yeah, I got pictures like that too.
well, the irony is that I deleted all those photos. I got rid of them all. Well, I didn't want to see them anymore after she passed away. I don't want to get rid of them all.
Well, it's scary for people today. I worry for people that have to date and stuff today with all the social media stuff because it's not like you just had a Polaroid or something or just a 110 camera or one of the older cameras we had growing up. It's on a digital platform where they can put it in the cloud and you don't know who's going to get it.
Right.
So I definitely would not want my picture taken, of us being risque or anything like that, because I wouldn't know what could happen later on, especially if they got mad at me or whatever. I mean, they could hurt me really bad by showing pictures of me. So I
That's
just
true.
would not want to.
Yeah,
wouldn't wanna put
the
myself
world
in
has
that
changed in
position.
regard to that. So sad.
That's true.
I mean,
It's
but people do it every day. I've got people, I've talked about this a few times, is that you've got people on Tinder, right? And they're dating on Tinder. They go out with 4 or 5 people and I'm like, these are total strangers you never met. You swipe left or right, and then you meet them at your house
Oh my God.
for a hookup. And then they end up dating and they've been dating a couple months and she's all excited. And I'm like, what's going on? Oh, I got a birthday. His birthday's coming up and I don't know what to get. And I said, well, get him some nice silk men's pajamas. Oh, that's too personal. And I'm like, you're sleeping with them. What is going on with these people? I don't understand. I don't fit in. I don't, it just doesn't sink in. I sit around thinking about it like, how does this make any sense?
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't make any sense to me. So it's like I was born in the wrong year or something. I'm living in the wrong times for people, this type of thing, because it just doesn't make
I don't
a lot of
think
this stuff doesn't
you're
make
not
sense.
social enough. You need to get out and get more social, and you'll see more of that. I deal with it all.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. I'll see more than I want to see.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But yeah. But see, I don't know. It just depends on your lifestyle, I guess, of whether you think that's appropriate or not. But to me,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but we made it. We went through everything, so that was great.
That was good.
Yeah, that was interesting. But I saw that and I was like, holy shit. Some of these things on here is like, wow, this would be interesting to talk about, especially today with relationships and how hard it is already, with just the everyday shit that's going on with COVID and all the politics and the crap that's going on with religion and schools. And, it's just so much detriment going on.
With that, I want to say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
AR-15 stands for Armor Light Rifle. Doesn't stand for anything else. It doesn't stand for assault rifle or automatic rifle. It stands for Armor Light. Okay, that's it.
So, how big are the bullets for a rifle like that?
5.56 Barbie rounds.
Yeah, I saw a picture. Someone posted, and it was a
Barbie
bullet
rounds.
as big as their hand or bigger than their hand. They're saying that went in their AR, and I was like, "Well, not one I've ever seen." So I could take to the range and shoot.
Real menu 776. Can't blow a hole the size of a grapefruit.
And maybe
So,
some tanninite to shoot at.
huh?
What?
And maybe some tanninite to shoot
You were
at.
insane.
You know.
No. Mm-mm. Wait, hold on for a second. Let me click on a couple of these. Oh, Woke Breaker. I'll say hello to Woke Breaker.
Hello,
And then
Roman
Bruce
here.
was in here.
Bruce.
Six Nation, 31 Kings. Oh,
Most
Mara
of Wi-Fi
Kitty.
6, I think.
Hello. Thank you for showing up. Nice to see you.
Well-
Hope we didn't bore too many people with the relationship stuff, but I think it's important that we all talk about stuff like that, because I don't think enough people actually visualize and share things like that anymore with relationships. They just tend to, I don't know,
To be fair,
brush it
most
under
of
the rug.
comments on that article were people from Reddit, and those aren't really people.
Well, yeah, I don't know if they're real people or not. I don't know any of them, but we're real people, and we were talking about something and how it affects us in real life. So to me, I think that makes a
And if
difference.
they don't think that we're real people, fuck you.
They're real.
Words to live by, ladies and gentlemen. Words to live by. Fuck you.
Sorry.
That was hard.
Follow her on
Hopefully that's
Twitter.
not one of the words
American
we're not
Woman
allowed
for
to use.
more life tips.
'Cause I never did read all that stuff.
And fuck you. Those are tonight's takeaways.
There you go.
Yeah, everybody says that sometimes. I say it a lot. I've said it quite a few times on Bruce's
Armalite?
show.
I've never heard you say Armalite.
No, this.
Well, that's
No.
your finger. That's not saying anything. That's
I
just showing
said,
a
fuck
finger.
you.
Okay.
Okay.
I say that sometimes when I get really pissed off. Just takes a little bit.
If
I'll
anybody
do
gets on
it.
my Twitter feed, they know exactly where I stand on.
Well, I know. I've seen yours. It's got some pretty alarming.
I get pretty
information
pissed
on it.
off and I say what I feel. So
Yeah, you're
don't
very
apologize.
fiery.
I imagine if the feds don't like what I have, they'll tell me.
That's
I'm
right.
sure they're
They'll come to
following
my
me.
door.
Oh yeah, they'll just show up at your house.
Like, I didn't care for your meme.
they'll tell you.
Misspelled a few words. All right. Sorry, agent. I will fix that.
That's
Was
right.
there anything else anybody wants to talk about? That
Oh,
you
I
guys
know.
can think
I
of?
was going to say the Juneteenth or whatever that is coming up. It's going to be on.
Yeah.
Going to become something on the. What do you think about that?
I don't
It's a paid
know. I've
holiday
never
for me,
really
that's what I
paid that
think.
much attention to
Well,
it.
it's
a
a
waste
paid
of-
holiday for me too. so
Waste.
I
It's
think-
fake.
Exactly, but hey, if you get paid for it, and if they
Well,
liberals,
one thing I can talk
Well-
about a holiday is gay pride. I remember it was what was it? It was one day, and then it was a week, and now it's a whole
Exactly,
month.
Ruben.
So how many holidays end up becoming a whole month? Just think about it. If our birthdays could be a whole month long celebration.
I will say, from a historical standpoint, I don't have an issue necessarily celebrating the end of slavery. It was a pivotal moment in our country's history, something we still contend with today.
Right.
They just kind of grabbed that one and ran with it. I don't have a problem with it. What I have a problem with is most major holidays in the United States, a Columbus Day, a Memorial Day, a Veterans Day, every one of them has a story behind it. Everybody has
Right.
history. Veterans Day,
Right.
it's Armistice Day and everybody else. Columbus Day, we know. But how many people really know what Juneteenth is?
Exactly.
Well, unless they tell people or explain what it is, then people won't know. It's just like most people don't know about a lot of things that's going on every single day in the United States because
Or-
nobody's educated on it.
Or like Camel told Harris, what she said. Enjoy the long weekend from Memorial Day. She said that.
Yeah.
And I
I,
guess that's
I
my
can
point.
believe it. I missed it because I don't watch television. I hardly watch TV
Oh,
at
I
all.
saw it on Twitter. or
If we're
whatever.
going to have a holiday like that, then I would prefer that people understand exactly what it is supposed to represent. Maybe
Yeah.
the event itself wasn't as big a deal because by that time everybody else had already aware that slavery was over. But I don't know, use as a teaching moment. As a history guy, nothing aggravates the piss out of me more than the fact that people younger than I don't know history, especially of this country.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which it's just like I said, they don't learn anything. People are graduating from college that can't even bounce a checkbook.
Exactly.
You know, so it's sad. And look at China, boy. I'm telling you right now, Japan and China, boy, their kids are smart when they graduate.
Japan's got some issues.
Well, over the
but-
last few years, it's gotten worse, but years ago, it wasn't like that. And it wasn't like that here either. We had lots of kids that could compete in so many things around the world which I don't know if we could today. If they
You
did,
don't have to know anything when all the answers are in the palm of your hand on your phone.
Exactly.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. They should be able to have phones in school.
Doesn't history come from Europe? You are a godless heathen, nation's king, and I like that. Only the history that matters.
Right.
The history of now.
Yep.
That's what matters. What's happening right now. So
Okay, well, I gotta head out, y'all.
yeah, I gotta get ready to go to
Thank
bed.
you so much. I appreciate you cooking.
I gotta go. I got DD tomorrow. I'm excited.
Oh my god.
Or it's well, I know you hate it, Sandy.
I get to
can
sleep
help it.
in.
I just
DD?
don't understand it.
I get to sleep in too, but it's going to be a long day because last week or
Couldn't
2
just let me
weeks
have
ago,
that, could
we
you?
were up until 9:30 at night. We've been playing all day. We played
9:30?
9 hours.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we played
Nothing
9
good happens after
hours.
9 o'clock.
A role
I can
playing
find
game
you
for
something
9
better
hours.
to do with your time.
How dare you
No,
break curfew?
I wouldn't trade it for nothing. I was supposed to go
I
to
know.
Dad this weekend, remember? But I'm not going because I'm going to play.
Rebel
I'm
kids
gonna
and
play
your
this
Dungeons
game.
and Dragons at 9:30 at night.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, it's fun. We have so much fun. I
Yeah.
love it. I'm so thankful that they
Listening
wanted
to
me
your
to
rock and roll
play with them.
music.
Yeah. Who are you? Who are
So,
you?
yeah, but thank you guys
Yeah,
for
thank you
joining
so
me
much,
tonight.
Thank you for
Bruce.
having
Really
me. I
appreciate
appreciate
it.
Everybody out there.
And thank you guys for
Your
coming.
Janet,
Oh, what?
thanks for
Wait,
having
wait,
me.
let me read this. What's this say?
Rub your hands together, Emily.
Evenly.
Evilly.
That's
Last
not
week was
Heavily.
over 9 hours, and I still trying to push you to go longer and harder, and you players quit on me. Yeah, we were worn out. We couldn't
Hey,
even
I'm
make a
gonna do some
sentence.
exact
Lord,
stuff.
you're wrong. Twice. What'd you get? A hand cramp? Oh, we were exhausted once we got past the
Yeah,
dungeon.
he's a mean.
What?
A giant frost worm come up out of the ground and eat me. I
Well,
already
then I
died
got
once
away.
in this whole
Oh,
game.
God.
So they brought me back, thank goodness, because they found my elbow.
I tried to
Oh,
join
everybody
one
bring me
time and
back.
talk and stuff, but Janet just cuts me off.
Yeah. Oh well. But thank you everyone for coming. I really appreciate it. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I really I wish I was a little better at this, but hopefully over time we'll get better at it. But at least thanks to Bruce showing me how to do all of this stuff. I'm finally learning
Hey,
a little
Ruben
bit.
has been there by your side, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ruben's
Without him,
really smart too. Thank you, Ruben.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you, Emperor.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Emperor, and thank you,
Bruce, too.
Sandy. I
Bruce.
really appreciate you coming
Yeah,
and being here with me.
sure
Thank you
you
for having
do.
I do.
No, I'm glad. No, I'm glad. I'm glad that I have at least somebody here to talk to. So it's nice. Thank you.
Hey, anytime.
Well, I'm glad to have you here. It took me a little while to figure out how to do all this stuff, but it'll get better every time. I
Yep.
think.
Every time.
We'll see.
All
Well, I
right,
love y'all.
well,
See you
have
later.
Good night,
I love
everyone.
you too.
Good night, everybody.
Bye. Good night, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us.
Don't leave without.